Hello everyone, this is Helios Raven. I tell you how I do it, even if you don't care. And we're about wrapping up with our in-depth look at the forces of Battlefleet Gothic with the forces of Mars, the Adeptus Mechanicum. And we're going to take a quick gander at reserves, allies, and campaign notes. Now, with reserves and allies, Adeptus Mechanicum can be used as reserves in any Imperial Navy or Space Marine fleet list. Counterwise, Imperial Navy vessels from any fleet list can be used as reserves in a Mechanicus fleet following all the normal rules for those vessels. They don't gain the Adeptus Mechanicum rules. No more than one reserve vessel can be taken for every 3 capital ships in the fleet. For every 3 cruisers, 1 reserve cruiser class, battle cruiser, or grand cruiser may be taken. For every 3 battleships, 1 battleship class vessel may be taken. Vessels taken as reserves count respectively toward the total number of cruisers and battleships allowed in a Mechanicus fleet. Space Marines can also be used as reserves in Mechanicus fleet that does not include regular Navy capital ships or alien vessels of any type. They can be taken in ratio of 1 strike cruiser for every 3 Mechanicus capital ships and 1 battle barge for every 3 strike cruisers. Now, ships that can be allied with Imperial Navy vessels, such as the Demurrg or the Rogue Traders, can also ally themselves with the Mechanicus vessels normally, even if reserves are also used. Mechanicus vessels cannot be placed in squadrons with Rogue Traders, regular Imperial Navy, or Adeptus Astaris, Space Marine vessels. Mechanicus rerolls cannot be used on these vessels, and other Fleet Commander rerolls cannot be used on Mechanicus vessels, and Mechanicus Fleet Commanders can only be embarked on Mechanicus ships. Now, with Mechanicus ships and as reserves and such, Mechanicus vessels that are crippled when used as reserves in other fleets will attempt to disengage whenever possible. Otherwise, they will move towards the closest table edge. Those in capital ship squadrons will disengage when half or more of the vessels in the squadron are crippled. There are no restrictions on how many reserve Imperial Navy, Space Marines, or Rogue Trader escorts are included in Adeptus Mechanicus fleet, as long as the Xeno vessels and the reserve Space Marine escorts are not included in the same fleet. Escorts taken in this manner must be available in the same fleet list reserve capital ships are being drawn from. So basically that's saying, you know, if the capital ship that you're getting your reserves for, if the capital ship in that reserve force is allowed these escorts, then there's no problem, but if they can't, then you can't use those escorts at all. And other notes here with campaigns, the Mechanicus refits that ships earn at the start of the campaign are the ones they keep until they are destroyed. In the course of a campaign, Mechanicus vessels can earn additional refits from the standard Imperial Navy refit table or Space Marine refit table. They cannot continue to gain refits from the Mechanicus gift table because these are so rare they just don't throw them out wherever. But however, the where is it? I just lost it. However, those vessels so engaged will always receive priority when requiring repair or work on the shipyards. Well, I'm not going to go over that really because that's more campaign stuff, and you know the rules are there if you want to look at them for campaigns. Now, additional refits earned by renown in the course of a campaign, as listed on the following table, are not cost to the vessel they are applied to, and they are separate from the refits earned by appeal, which must be paid for normally. Unlike normal refits, these free refits may be taken from the Adeptus gift table if desired. However, they can only be applied to the fleet commander's flagship. They must be rolled randomly, and no refit can be used more than once. Should that vessel be lost, those refits are lost as well, and do not follow the fleet commander to his new flagship. However, Mechanicus fleet commanders will have access to the refits they earn and can roll randomly against the Mechanicus table to the number of refits they are entitled to apply to their new flagship. So, not too bad, and that is basically it for the Adeptus Mechanicum, the ships of Mars. How do they fare? I like them. I play that army myself. I can't wait to actually get my army finished and face Phil again against his Tau with them, which should be cool. I like a lot of their refits. Again, with some things with them, they do make a lot of some of the ships that you would normally take with an Imperial Army, Imperial Navy, more appealing, like the Oberon as Thunderstorm 316 said on my profile. It does make the Oberon a really nice ship when put into the Mechanicus force. Is actually one of the reasons why I picked that vessel because it is really nice when it's in the Mechanicus force itself. Overall, the army is, in a sense, though, it's really just the Imperial Guard. If it's for people who just want to play, they don't want to play Imperial Navy, and they don't want to play Space Marines, but they kind of do. So it allows you to mesh them together and applies some special rules to make them unique. It's not really a full-fledged army. It's a subcategory in those two armies, combining them. Doesn't make it a bad army, no. In a sense, it kind of gains the benefits of both forces as a whole. And so it allows you to basically combine the two in a nice balance to try and make work better. Now, granted, most of the escorts and cruisers that they get are from the Imperial Navy. They do have access to the Space Marine escorts, which is really nice. And like their refits are really awesome. The fact that they get a +1 to their repair rates is great. The new the Quest for Knowledge special rule kind of gives more zazz and interest to campaigns and missions that you're playing. It makes a more interesting feel, and it's really great, especially if you want something different but the same at the same time, which is kind of like why I picked it. Plus, also because my Imperial Army is Mechanicum themed, and all in all, really nice army. There's a lot of benefits and disadvantages to them. They are very point heavy, but they do get a lot of neat upgrades and such. Is it enough to say, definitely pick this army if you want this? No, like I said, it's really more if you want an interesting, unique hybrid of unique version of the Imperial Navy, and you want to have some Space Marine escorts thrown in and just be a little bit unique, then definitely pick up the Mechanicus Force, because that's what you're going to get with them. And again, with this army, even though it uses vessels from different forces, you really shouldn't just grab your old Imperial Guard and just go, oh, this is Adeptus Mechanicum, because then that's just, but that's my own personal opinion. I just don't like when I see that, but that's just me. And again, like I said, really fun army to play. It's unique. It shares a lot of the combat tack that the Imperial Navy vessels have. So they're more of a mid to long range, depending on the cruisers that you pick. And it really is, like I said, very unique and a lot of fun to play. And that's basically all I can say for the Adeptus Mechanicum. I know I repeated myself a lot, but it's mostly because, like you've noticed, there's not very much to work with the Adeptus Mechanicum, and that is all I can say on that. So that is the end of our look into the forces of Battlefleet Gothic. Next, I am going to leave it up to you guys to vote. Do you want me to talk about making terrain, or do you want me to go over the rules of how to play the game? So just leave a comment, and please put your vote in brackets so I know within the sentence what you're actually saying, so I don't misinterpret what you're saying. Just go, oh, I'd like to do that, blah, 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 brackets, terrain building, brackets, rules of the game, how to play, or whatever, just so I know what you're voting for. And that vote will be going on until the end of the week, so get those votes in and we'll decide from there. And stay tuned till after I sign off, because I got a little preview of things to come. So until next time, this is Helios Raven signing off.